Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast, episode number 66. 66. We are in a scary number now, guys.
No, we have like 600 more to go before that's really scary.
On our way to 666. That's going to be a very long episode. We're going to be like 700 years old. It's going to be good.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
Who are we, though? I'm Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
I'm Blake Ginithan.
Yeah.
He's like,
is that my name?
Here's the thing. I really wanted to go, I'm Brian Mensing. Because I practice it to try and mimic it.
Yeah.
And since you stole it from me that one time, I still want to do it at some point.
I want to just steal Andy's opening every time. Coming to you recorded from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
I think
I love it.
I think
Andy.
he enunciates even more now since you brought it up to him. There's like this.
I love
delay
it though.
And it's like a grand show.
I should open up with an amuse bouche.
You know what you should do?
Amuse bouche.
What you should do is record him saying it in one of his shows, and then just put it in. You should just put that clip in the beginning of the episode.
In our episode?
Yeah.
Next time he's here, I'll just have him do the introduction.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Anyway, let's get to what we're talking about today. That is the Oscars, the 92nd Annual Academy Awards. We're going to be talking about the winners, the losers, the cats, everything in between. We're going to do it all.
Oh my God, that was so bad.
So we'll get into who watched it, what was our favorite parts, what was our favorite moments of the night. But before we get into that, we got to jump into the box office and the news. Kicking it off in the box office, number one this week, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, $33 million.
Say that 3 times fast.
I will never say that again. $33 million, not a great opening weekend for this film.
I think if I've read correctly here, the worst DC opening film to date.
Yeah.
And that's saying something considering what it has to precede it.
It had a lot to go up against, though, too, as far as Suicide Squad was a critical and fans hated it, too. Bomb.
The marketing was just
all over the place.
There's no words.
It looked like it still wanted to be the Zack Snyder style of DC movies, but also be a fun romp Deadpool style movie. And I don't know, those two things don't really go hand in hand, but
no.
From what I've heard, though, the movie is much better than what the marketing brings out. So.
Very much so.
Yeah.
As someone who's had an opportunity to see it, it takes a little bit to find its footing, but once it does, it's just an absolutely fun film. And the fight choreography is amazing.
Blake, thoughts?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I'll probably see it in my house. This seems low, but...
It's also going up against Oscar weekend. People are in kind of that mood.
I was going to say, you're probably fighting people who are like, oh, I didn't catch 1917, or I didn't catch...
or Jojo Rabbit.
Rabbit, or any of them, That's probably why it didn't do well.
Yeah, looking at number 2 now, Bad Boys for Life, dropping down from that number 1 spot finally after being there for 3 weeks in a row. $12 million this weekend, still doing strong. 166 total domestic. Yeah, this movie's doing pretty well for itself.
It'll see a 4.
Yeah, we'll get a Bad Boys 4 Life. Just use the same title. Why not?
They burned that so bad.
No, they got it.
No.
They got it. It can have. You can do the same title twice.
Yeah.
It'll be Bad Boys
change
for
the
Life
spelling.
with a subtitle.
It's never done before. Why not
Or
start now?
it'll be like Bad Boys Forever or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Number 3, 1917, $9 million. 7th weekend out for this film. Hoping that it was one of the last, if not the last, released film of the Oscar nominated Best Pictures.
And you can definitely tell, too, when it's like, yes, I dipped a whole whopping 2.7% from the week before. If it wasn't for the fact that this was Oscar nominated, I'm pretty sure it would have fallen off completely.
Yeah, I think it would have dropped. I don't know if it would have dropped out of the top 5 with what else we have in theaters, including our number 4, Woof. But yeah, I think it's helping that it's getting nominated for a bunch of awards, and people were in the mood to see these type of films.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, number 4 is Doolittle, next year's Best Picture winner, $6.5 million.
It'll be run in the cast category.
It'll be in that Razzie category, I'm sure.
Definitely will be in the Razzie categories.
Yes.
Number 5, Jumanji, The Next Level, $5.5 million. 298.
This is insane.
that it's still in the top 5 after
Came out
in
what?
9 weeks.
A week. It came out a week before Star Wars, right?
Yeah, it was like around
And
the
it's
17th.
still in the top 5.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Disney should probably be looking at what they're doing over there at Sony with their Jumanji. Sony finally has
I'm sure they'll just buy it.
Yeah. Sony's finally has a franchise though.
Yeah.
They got a couple.
I mean, the one that's actually fans like it and it's making money.
Well, that's true.
Very rare for them. And then Bad Boys 2 is a Sony release, so they're turning into the right direction
They
with
got the
that.
adult crowd and they got the kids crowd.
Well, look at this top 5 too. Not a single Disney film in it.
Wow.
Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal, and Sony.
That'll change as
I was
soon
gonna
as
say,
this
I was literally thinking
summer.
that's probably going to change really quickly here.
Yeah.
But
What is the next Disney on the horizon?
Mulan?
The Pixar film. Oh, and then Mulan. Those are right around the same. I think they're both in March.
Oh, okay. Because I know that Black Widow's not until May.
Yeah. So that's the box office for the week. Let's move on to the news. And as I told these two on the other side, this was not because I just like horror movies.
Yes, it
but
is.
this is, well, that's part of the reason. But it's just a lot of horror-heavy news this week for some reason. Let's kick it off with Ryan and Andy Tohill, directors of The Dig. I've never heard of that film. Have you guys?
Nope.
It sounds familiar.
They are set to direct the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, which is written by Chris Thomas Devlin and produced by Fede Alvarez.
This is another reboot.
Well, they can't seem to quite stick the landing, so why not just try again?
It seems like they can't stick the takeoff either.
Even Michael Bay couldn't get it off the
out on
ground.
this series.
This series has more timelines than the Halloween franchise. Everybody's like, "Oh, just stop doing it." I'm like, just keep doing it then. They're not going to stop. So
Yeah.
give it I don't know who these guys are. Maybe they'll deliver something good. Maybe not. I don't know. Fede, I wish, was just doing the movie because he's delivered probably the best horror remake of the last 20 years. So let's just give him the film.
Yeah, he's too busy trying to be, I don't know.
He's not doing anything right now. I think he's working on Don't Breathe 2, but I'd rather have him do a Texas Chainsaw film than Don't Breathe 2. And I like Don't Breathe.
I'd rather them do something original.
Right. Something that's not been done before. Do we need another?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Do we? No. Am I going to go watch it in the theater? Yeah.
So how many of these has there been since 2000?
Since 2000, there's been
At least, 4, 5?
There's been 4. There's been...
Is this the fifth one?
The remake, the prequel to the remake,
Yeah.
the 3D, which was a direct sequel to the first, and then Leatherface, which was a prequel to I don't know which one. All of them? I don't know. And then this one.
Yeah.
Leatherface didn't even make it to theaters.
For me, I'd say skip all that and go watch the first 3 and call it a day.
And throw in the Matthew McConaughey one, Next Generation, just for fun.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen the third one. It's the only one I have not seen.
It's wild until the end, but yeah, it's better than this crap.
Yeah, I'll do a binge before this crap probably comes out. Next piece of news that we got here. Universal is kicking along with their monster movies here. Matt Strosky, the director of Side Effects, will direct the Monster Mash musical for Universal, written by Will Widger? Yeah.
I'm shaking my head. Like, let Universal just needs to stick and make sure that something lands before they're 4 movies out and end up having to redo whatever they're already planning on. It's a waste of time.
I don't think they're planning a universe, though, this time. And I think that's a step in the right direction because we don't need that.
Oh, we definitely don't need it.
Do creator-driven horror films. That's what we need.
You know my opinion on musicals.
You hate them.
Yeah, I don't like them. This sounds kind of cool.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm semi-impressed here.
First of all, I love the Monster Mash. I do it every year.
It's a graveyard smash, if you would say.
I would love to. Here's what I would love to see is them actually make, like Brian said, get your movies made and then have it'd be really cool if they did like serious horror movies and then each of them get a movie. like the Invisible Man, the Wolf Man.
Yeah.
They all get a really serious movie, and then they make the Monster Mash, and it's a comedy with those serious characters in it. That would be cool. I would like to see that. So if anything, this is a little early for me.
What I've noticed in doing my Universal Monsters rewatch is that the progression of the movies starts from serious and it goes really goofy, really fast with those.
There you go.
I would be all for it. It fits within all these characters. I mean,
well, and that's where I'm like, if we're going all straight into Monster Mash and we have unestablished or reestablished characters and whatnot, and then you basically waste what is going to be potentially a good film that could have been on its own, that everybody's like, oh, that's just going to be campy because of what I saw in Monster Mash.
I would be fine if this Monster Mash had nothing to do with the other monsters that they're doing. Like, I don't want to see this darker version of Invisible Man from the Lee Winnell movie in the Monster Mash. I wouldn't see him anyway, but
just cast John Cena.
What they should do is take the cast from the Dark Universe, the shitty Tom Cruise stuff, and put them in this Monster Mash. I want to see Tom Cruise in a campy musical.
It was called Ages of Rock of Ages?
No, with Johnny Depp and all of them.
No. I'm out.
No.
I'm out.
I'm fully into never cast Johnny Depp in anything again.
Yeah, well, I'm still with that, but I don't know. We'll see. They got a couple other things in the pipeline. The Invisible Woman, with Elizabeth Banks. They're doing the Renfield movie. I think there's one other one I can't think of right now. Oh, it's the Paul Feig Dark Army or something like that. They're kind of just throwing darts at the wall. What haven't we done in the last 10 years?
I mean, if they want to pay me to graph some sort of like timeline of movies, and I'm more than willing to help out and figure something out.
All they got to do is just look back in their archive and be like, well, that's what we did back 60 years ago. Let's just do it again.
But we can't do that
if they could somehow tie this to the Shape of Water universe, and like truly make an effort to. I mean, I'm not expecting a Best Picture winner or nominated movie every time out, but like put some serious, effort into it, and like tie it to that, since that's sort of like the Creature of the Black Lagoon. Do that. See if you can do that. Take this stuff seriously. I
think the Lee Winnell movie is going a more serious direction, and I think that's a good step.
Yeah,
for them.
I mean, it still looks like a big studio. Scary, like horror movie or jump scare
from the trailers.
Movie. Yeah. So I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I feel like more and more people are taking horror seriously this decade. Like, why can't someone do that on a bigger scale?
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of these monster films. None of them are in casting or in any pre-production, really.
Who knows if they even gets out of that stuff?
Yeah. Next piece of news is that Urban Legend is going to get a remake. Speaking of remakes.
Remake?
A remake, a reboot, a continuation.
A re-whatever?
Basically, what it said is it's an urban legend for a new generation.
It's got to be better than that third one.
Phones and Snapchat crap on it.
So what? I've never watched the Urban Legend series.
I have.
I heard they're fun.
The third one's awful. Which is saying something.
Sequels go.
Which is saying something because all I can think of is that there was enough people watching it to review it that the third one, which is absolutely horrendous and really goes out of the urban legend aspect and into the supernatural aspect, is the highest rated, and it's still at a 40 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm excited to watch them all.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed the first two.
The first one's great.
The first one is absolutely great.
The first one's great.
Like when you mentioned this, I was like, can we have Rebecca Gayheart come back as the villain? Because why not?
Brian.
What?
Spoilers, man.
I'll forget by the time I watch it.
Again, if he hasn't watched it yet, it's his own fault.
I was probably 2 months old when that movie came out.
You were older than that. But anyways.
1998, I think.
You need to watch...
Yeah, how old were you in 98?
You need to watch Urban Legend. It's a really good movie. A lot of great sequences in it. I would say every time someone is murdered, the sequence is pretty great.
That poor dog.
Yeah, the poor dog. I don't remember the second one, but I think
that's the one when they're at the film school. It's got Joey Lawrence in it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember Joey Lawrence at all.
All right, I got a lot more excited for this, and I think Blake will too. The writer and director of Grave Encounters is taking on Urban Legend.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. And
if you haven't watched Grave Encounters, go watch Grave Encounters.
Yeah,
Great found footage horror film.
We're big fans of that. When you said that it was a new generation, I was like, oh god, here we go. But now that Casey has offered that caveat, I'm pretty stoked to see what could happen with this because.
And I think urban legends are still a pretty big thing, especially in the internet age. Like taking creepypasta stuff, I think you could do something really cool with this movie.
Yeah.
Well, especially when in the days of like the Slender Man and whatever the hell that creepy bird-looking woman thing that was. Yes, thank you. You know,
there's plenty of things.
There's definitely an internet version of the urban legend
honestly,
out there.
You could create your own too. You could, and then that could become a new icon. I mean, not an icon of horror, but something that sticks in the zeitgeist for longer than 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got myself more excited just looking that up. So I had to see what this guy was from. So
stoked.
All right, something that is I am even more excited about. Sam Raimi is in talks to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm in.
I could care less.
Just because it's a Marvel movie?
Just because it's a Marvel movie. I'm happy that... I mean, I'm not happy that Scott Derrickson dropped out because I think he's a talented guy. But, I mean, there must have been something with this. Maybe they're like... maybe they walked back the idea of, like, him going full horror in this. Yeah. So that's disappointing. Sam Raimi obviously is like...
Obviously, he
uber talented film director.
And has his hands in the horror as well. So, I mean, there might be still at least something in there.
But, like, the thing is...
No stranger to Marvel movies
either. The thing is
what?
Sam Raimi can... He can take what he does so well in horror and adapt it to regular... not regular, but, like, a different genre. And you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh... I can totally tell this is a Sam Raimi movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, you're not getting the horror part of it. Or maybe, like, the full horror experience. Like I'm sure Casey knows exactly what sequence I'm talking about with Spider-Man 2, where, like, Doc Ock becomes alive. Like, that's a horror sequence. Yeah. And it's terrifying, but you're not, like...
But it's also... Yeah, it's also really campy. So, like,
in a way, like, the mechanisms of what make Sam Raimi so good at what he does... I mean, I don't know Doctor
Sleep.
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah, I've seen the movie, but I don't know what within what he does in the movie Raimi will like bring out better or change. So it could be interesting to see what he does with that.
You know how it's in the beginning of Evil Dead where Ash is like flying through the Evil Dead 2 where he's flying through the trees and spinning. Imagine Doctor Strange doing that, but like in space and through different realms. I think he's the perfect guy to do this.
It'd be great to see if...
I swear you brought this up when we talked about Derrickson dropping out. I swear you did.
What?
I'd have to go back and listen. Because when Derrickson dropped out of Doctor Strange 2, I think you mentioned Raimi.
If I did, then yeah, I mean I'm pretty smart.
He's an insider. He's getting paid by Marvel.
If I did, I don't remember.
In Sioux Falls, I was getting paid by Marvel. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone knows I'm not the biggest superhero fan, but I do enjoy some of them, and I do enjoy when they like. This isn't like a total risk, obviously, but like they are stretching their wings a little bit with Sam Raimi compared to
Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, who's talented on his own. So I'm excited to see like what a trailer is going to be like when we get a glimpse of the Raimi like fingers, the marionettes that he's going to be doing.
And I think giving him because the Multiverse of Madness, from what that's like the best title for any comic book movie ever. I think, in my opinion, just the title itself, I think is fantastic. And just imagining what Raimi can do with just that premise, introducing the multiverse. Along with Doctor Strange, who is a very kooky character who Raimi is also a big fan of, just along with Spider-Man. And let's, since we are bringing multiverses in and, he's done, a couple Spider-Man movies, let's get Tobey back.
Let's get them all back.
Give him a cameo. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in our Slack chat, I'm dying to see where Ted Raimi and Bruce Campbell come in if they have cameos like that will be.
Oh, they definitely will.
We'll see. I hope so because I'm a huge fan.
I think
of both.
Marvel would be all for it too, because
I mean,
they understand the importance
It's
of
probably
cameos
written
and
in the contract. Like, I got these two guys with me. They're going to be in there somewhere.
got to have my brother and my best friend and my car.
And I would be okay with that.
All of them will be in it, so
Yeah.
I'm excited
I like
for
how
it.
you also are like, and my car.
And my car. His car, the classic, is always in it. It's in every Sam Raimi movie, so
Is it in the Wizard of Oz?
it's probably in there. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
Oh,
If someone could tell me, because I'm not going to watch it.
There's probably an entire 15 minutes Easter egg video on YouTube that has all the appearances of the car.
Would it take that long? You could.
I don't know.
I think you could just find a still frame. Of
They're driving the car in Evil Dead. Maybe they throw all those scenes in. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's jump to our last piece of news. We get our first look at the Chris Rock produced Spiral from the Book of Saw. So as a Saw fan, Brian, I'm going to throw it off to you
You're going
first.
to throw it off to me?
Brian, you're a Saw fan?
I enjoyed the Saw movies. Always have.
As
I say that when I haven't actually sat down to watch Jigsaw
It's
yet.
the best one.
It's not good.
Jigsaw's the best Saw movie.
Is it good? But is it good?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Are you being facetious?
No, I'm dead serious. I think it's my favorite one easily. Yeah.
I'm just enjoying the horror guys over here, like complete opposites about this movie.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect Casey's opinion.
It's not right, but no.
I just disagree with him.
Yeah.
Escape Room is the best Saw movie ever made.
Wow, I almost would agree with that too. Actually.
Anyway, until
Yes.
this movie
Yes.
comes out, because I think this movie looks great.
It looks fantastic. In fact, you know, when I first heard that Chris Rock is going to do a Saw movie, my immediate thought was not, oh God, he's going to ruin it, or whatever the case is. It was, hey, you know what? If he takes the appropriate approach to it and, you know, respects the genre, respects the movies that came before it and whatnot, he could put a
I hope he doesn't respect the movies and just.
But what I mean in the respect of is that he isn't just going to be like, I'm going to make this mine, whatever the case is, and just pretend like everything else didn't exist before it and whatnot. He's obviously, with the name and calling the whole book of Saw and whatnot, is they're trying to make a universe out of it or something, a continuation or whatever the case.
What they were
is.
trying to do in Jigsaw.
Right.
I wonder if it's going to be like a big twist where it's happening simultaneously,
Or it's like 20 years before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. It depends. We'll have to keep an eye out for the technology.
It looks like this actually has a budget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, and
It looks like there's actually craft behind the filmmaking, unlike all the Saw sequels.
this guy who watches all these crappy horror movies is giving crap about the one that actually had somewhat of a budget.
Which one?
Any of them.
Oh,
It doesn't. I don't care about budget. It's what you do with it.
Aren't they all like under like $5 million budgets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they do.
They do a lot for what they have.
They do put their money in the screen. I'm not the biggest fan of the series. But I'm looking forward to this. I think it looks really good. I don't know if I like the inclusion of Samuel L. Jackson in it. I know he's well loved and like he's now like in another series that's going to earn $1 billion or whatever. But I mean, that was a joke. But like it looks really good. I'm glad that I can actually see the images.
That's what I meant by the filmmaking.
Like,
that is why I do not like the Saw
Saw
movies.
movies drive me nuts because, like, it looks like they found like the worst Snapchat filter and were like, all right, we're gonna make this entire movie yellow, and then they cut it to pieces to where you can't tell what's happening. That's why I like Jigsaw so much, is because the violence is cut back and you can see what's happening, and it's just like I can tell what's happening in this movie.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Jigsaw does have
like,
that. It's more mainstream
like
in the editing.
The Saw movies for me is like I go into and they're so loud. I'm totally boomering this whole thing right now, but like they're so loud and aggressive. That's why I like Jigsaw so much, is because they kind of
It's more subdued.
They put that stuff away and they're like, all right, well let's just give them more of like a streamlined version of what's happening. And this looks like a continuation of that. So I'm excited to see this. And I love the poster of the where they have like the stop sign and then like the spirals and I love that design. I mean, like, yeah, you know, Chris Rock is, when it was announced, I was like, that doesn't make much sense. But like, I think Chris Rock is smart enough to be like, you know, he's not going to go in making a parody of it.
Right. And that's where I'm going with it.
Or like, he's not going to do injustice to the series. Like I think it might.
He had an idea, pitched it to him, and as a fan,
right,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if when he starts doing interviews for this, he'll be like, yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of the series, and I had an idea of like where we could go, and I think we're gonna start seeing. You know how like you follow someone and you're like, I never expected them to do something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think we're gonna see like this, maybe not a renaissance, but like a Chris Rock, a new version of Chris Rock that we're like, I never knew this is what he could be. Like now
if Sandler can be serious, so can I. Kind of
right.
thing.
Like Chris Rock has the 4th season of Fargo coming out, where like I bet he kills it in that.
Yes.
So like. It's really exciting to see what he could do with this. Like I said, I'm not a big Saw fan, but this trailer does look very good, and the potential is there.
Yeah. And I was, you figure for the sake of the comedy of where Chris Rock comes from, most of the comedy comes from a dark place.
I bet this has zero comedy.
No, but I'm saying is
no,
that
I'm not.
right.
I'm assuming Samuel L. Jackson takes all the comedy bits. Rock plays it serious,
and it's gonna just be
which is Samuel L. Jackson. That's
right,
kind of why you put him in.
It's just gonna be him like saying like "hold on to your butts" or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna be like him.
Look at this
cracking
puppet
joke.
mother.
Yeah. Well, we might get that honestly, but
I'm hoping for one at least.
It'll be an R-rated movie, so Sam
Jackson
Jackson will get his explicitives in as he deems required.
Did Chris Rock write this movie? I swear when they announced this, it was like Chris Rock's writing and directing in the new Saw, and then when we were talking, I was like, oh, he's not directing it at all. So I wonder if there was
I knew that he was producing, but I didn't know about the directing part of it.
I'll let Brian look it up
maybe just
here.
because his name was the biggest that like I just assimilated like that he was.
Oh, because the director is Darren he did Saw 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, so that has me a little worried then, because those are
not the good.
I'm not a fan of those. Yeah,
because he's the director that took over from James Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had to bring up the name. I'm like, wait a minute.
I think Rock he's producing. I'm assuming he probably has story attached to him too. Yeah. So, if he has this great concept he came up with, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Saw needs
he's not
new
on
life.
He's not. Oh yes, he is. He came up with the story, but we got.
I'm almost more excited to see what he does after this, even more than this. Even though I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
Too.
I would love to see him step in the directing chair of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Original idea, give it to him. Yeah. Let him make some money off this, and then give him something bigger.
Brian, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing.
Oh.
All right. So let's move on to the Academy Awards then for this year, because Saw will be there in 2 years. This year.
When does Saw come out, by the way?
It's like August, I think. Should be in October.
They should do like a September 27th release of that.
October's pretty stacked.
No, Spiral comes out in May.
Oh.
Spiral, and that was the part that threw me off because they...
Is it called Spiral?
Yes, Spiral, the Book of Saw.
I don't like the tagline part of that, but...
And I think they're only doing that for the sake of...
You need to have Saw in the title.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it needs to be in there.
You know what I like is Saw Spiral. Like Saw : Spiral. I think that'd be cool. They should change it. Because it's like you're going to go up to an interview. Like if
you're just going to say Saw.
If you go buy a ticket, it's just going to be like, yeah, I'll have one for Spiral, please. Or like the Saw movie. Anyways.
All right. Anywho, what were we saying before this?
Oscars.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, the Oscars.
Yeah, those happened last night.
Yeah.
There's some people that won movies. All right, we're done.
They won awards.
They won awards for their movies. So let's just jump into it. The 92nd Academy Awards. We'll jump through some of the smaller categories first and get to the bigger ones and talk about those a little longer. So let's start live action short film. All of us got the chance to watch these.
Yeah.
Yes.
So winner, chicken dinner, The Neighbor's Window.
Yeah, this is a great choice.
It was a very good choice.
I'll be honest. I think all of them would have been really good.
Yeah. There wasn't anybody in this category where I was like, really, that's what would have won.
Yeah,
it was a strong category.
Mm-hmm. I'm sort of surprised NEFTA Football Club made the final, only because like it doesn't have like that. Well, like Neighboring Window is like it really hits
Packs
you.
punch,
yeah, and NEFTA Football Club I feel like is like pure cinema, like where it's like it's building to something like really like violence is about to brew, and all of a sudden
it ends on a joke.
Twist it ends on this big joke, and you're like, oh my god! And like when we saw it at Cinema Falls, like the crowd erupted.
We loved it
when that kid was like, yeah, we used to. I don't want to ruin people who haven't seen it, but like when the kid comes out, I was like, yeah, I did this with it. It's like, oh, that's awesome. You know,
What did you do with the detergent?
Yeah, I think that was my pick, NEFTA Football
Yeah.
Club. I think that was a lot of
Yeah.
people's picks, but I'm glad to see Neighbor's Window was my favorite.
that was my favorite too. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna win. But
No,
I
not at
picked
all.
Saria. I think the girls' prison one.
I think that's the
chose
one
it.
I picked too.
And I chose it based on the fact that like they're like this is based off a true story. These are the names of the girls who perished, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, they're going for it. So I was like,
That was
this
my
is-
least
this is
favorite
gonna
one.
win.
Yeah. Documentary short subject: Learning to skateboard in a war zone is our winner. I picked that one because it had the coolest name.
That was the only reason why you picked it.
I picked In the Absence, I think. And,
This is one of those categories where I just am like, that sure,
Yeah, I
because I
didn't-
didn't get a chance to see any of
Yeah.
I
them.
didn't make it to the Cinema Falls thing,
Yeah.
and I wish I would have. But I my Tuesday nights are shot. So
Documentary feature: the winner of the Academy Award, American Factory. I think that was the
I haven't seen it.
the conscious
I haven't
choice.
seen
That was
any
the
of
one
them.
everybody went for.
Well, and weren't you the one that was telling me about how like the guy, the Chinese owner of the thing was just basically saying,
Yeah.
just go ahead and film whatever, whether I look good or bad.
Right. So so I watched the Spirit Awards Saturday night, and the lady who gave the speech last night also gave the speech Saturday night, and she thanked the guy who ran the company, and was like, he did not get in our way at any point. He did not, like, even if when we were filming stuff it was very questionable what they were doing, he told them that we could record. And so she was like, she was very happy that he, like, some big wig was not like, you can't do that, you can't show that. Like, he let them film everything. So I thought that was pretty cool, because I mean at the end of the day, like, you want reality, right?
Yeah, you want
truth.
honesty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on Netflix right now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go check that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna watch it and watch something else instead.
All right, best original song. I'm gonna love me again. Rocket Man.
As Blake was the entire time going, stop with the songs.
Yeah, I'm done with songs.
The one thing I will say about the performances, and I do think it was a completely missed opportunity, is they should have had Taron out there with Elton John.
Yeah, I agree with
with
that.
with
I
the,
agree.
with the performance.
In fact, I think he should have been singing it, not Elton John,
I could see. I
because
would.
he sang it in the movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Either. I mean, I think it would have been great for like almost like a duet style to have Taron out there at least. Like if Elton's going to be on it, I at least wanted. I
Or
wanted.
just have Elton on the piano and have
Yeah,
Terrence sing.
yeah.
Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
okay with that.
All right, best original score. Joker is the winner there. It's been sweeping pretty much everywhere else in that category.
That was.
But I also like how we were all talking about how it just seemed like it was like the what the choice was going to be, because they were talking about the women conductor that was going to go through the original score, everything like that, and that it just everything was screaming that it was going to be her, which I'm glad it was.
Joker is a good score. I would have liked to seen Marriage Story sneak in there for Randy Newman.
I kind of agree with that. I really like the Marriage Story. Like, out of all the things in Joker, like, the score for me was the least memorable part of it. I could not tell you a piece of music from that movie. Whereas, like, Marriage Story, I was like, oh yeah, I can see this. But like, she won all the precursors, so that seemed like it was
The obvious
The
choice.
go-to,
yeah.
She did
yeah.
a great speech too, so I thought that was kind of cool.
All right, sound mixing goes to 1917, which
Yeah,
was
I
we were expecting 1917 to take most of the technical stuff.
Yeah, from the technical side, it's
Yeah.
great. It's a fantastic film.
I haven't seen it. I wish
No,
I could
well,
see
and
it.
that's why I say it's from the technical side.
Yeah.
Sound editing though goes to Ford v Ferrari.
This is kind of an upset, I think.
Yeah,
Because
I think
everybody was
it
kind of
usually goes
expecting
to
that
the same 1917.
So, when that got read out, I was like, "Oh, is 1917 gonna lose the other one?" But it didn't. But
What I like seeing in the overall Oscars from the year is that there was a good variety of winners.
There really
like
wasn't
no one
an-
swept a lot.
so
Right.
Besides
the
the big ones
so
later.
the Oscars changed the way they vote now. They have it with like a preferential ballot.
They added a lot more people too.
And ever since they've changed the way they vote, no movies sweep. Like we're at the point now where, like, we'll get to it later, obviously, but like Parasite essentially swept these awards last night with only
With
4.
four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Lord of the Rings won with 13, and Chicago won with 10 or 11. So like.
Probably won't ever get that again.
And if we do, like, then we'll know that a movie was universally loved.
Right.
All right, next one that we got here, animated short film. goes to Hair Love.
This was my pick when we were going through who's going to win and whatnot. It definitely had I think the emotion behind it. I think everybody was really gravitating towards.
It's a really heartwarming.
It very much so is.
All of them were very very good. I really since we have the mic for a little bit, like, just want to point out like how great all of them. There's one that is his sister's song.
Sister, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It was
Sister.
okay.
It was trying to give a message more than a
and
a good story.
I don't mind like a weaker story as long as like the animation elements are there to draw me in. This one didn't have that for me. Where I thought like, is it memorable?
Yes.
Was fantastic. Daughter was fantastic.
Kit Bull.
Daughter felt like it was like I swear, Daughter looked so real at times. I thought it was actual people, and then they like must have painted over them or something. Kipple was great too, but like Daughter blew me away. The animation style. So I thought those were great, and I'm not here to talk down on Sister. I thought it was good, but I was fine with really any of those movies winning, and I thought Kipple was gonna win, but I did pick Hair Love because I saw someone online was like, everyone's talking about Hair Love, and I'm like, all right, I'm picking Hair Love.
Yeah, I was picking Kit Bull. I would have liked to see Memorable. That was my favorite out of these 5, but Hair Love is fantastic.
I love the way Memorable uses the animation to depict like a fading memory.
The deterioration.
Yes, I thought that was brilliant. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to animated feature then. Goes to Toy Story 4.
Because Toy Story needs another Academy Award.
I mean, I actually have not seen any of these movies this year. I was way behind on animation this year.
I'm out of animation until my daughter gets old enough to watch them. So.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 on Disney Plus right now, though. So.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, I might have to use my Disney Plus now.
Well,
I don't have to get off my butt.
Pretty much all these are pretty easy to find. 2 of them are on Netflix, Claws and I Lost My Body.
I want to see Missing Link. That actually kind of looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Was that the same people who did like Box Trolls and stuff?
Yep.
That's going to be really good then, because they usually knock it out of the park.
All right, makeup and hairstyling goes to Bombshell, the one everyone in their ballot picked. Because she looks so much like Megyn Kelly.
Well, also John Lithgow's fat suit is quite incredible. So.
Yes. No, I certainly understand why they won that they did, just because, I mean, like you said, John Lithgow and how transformed, the least transformed for me out of like the main cast was Margot Robbie. Like everybody else, like you have to sit there and look at so you can try to remember what the person looked like after their transformation.
Oh, okay. Nicole Kidman too?
Yeah. Well, just the way they adjust the shape of her face.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, Nicole Kidman, John Lithgow. Yeah, you're like, wow, that's ooh. I'm hoping that's not real.
Charlize Theron looked exactly like Megyn Kelly. Like
she did though. She did. Yeah.
She definitely did.
Yeah.
All right, costume design goes to Little Women.
I think I predicted this one.
Yeah.
I was going for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
This
was
one-
mine, just because
This one felt like it could go so many different ways.
I think it could have went to all of them.
Oh,
That's what I'm
agreed.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood just overall, I mean, the transformation of and everybody into the 60s and all that, it was. But I mean, from what I've seen from Little Women, because I haven't a chance to see the film and whatnot, is everything I have seen looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not. I like seeing the mixing up of winners here. We're not getting all the same ones. Nice to see Little Women pick up an Oscar here.
It is pretty cool.
Production design goes to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
That was like a dead ringer.
I was hoping for Parasite,
Parasite
but
would be cool. So, so I want to talk about your big pick that you had on your sheet.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later. But I also was hoping Parasite would win because that house is incredible. But, like, again, what else is nominated?
The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, and Parasite.
Like, you're talking like 5 easily could win in this one.
Yes.
And the thing is going into this, I kind of figured Irishman was getting shut out. Like, I just had this notion that it was like, all right, we got to nominate it because it's Scorsese. And it was a great movie. I thought it was really good, but I just knew it wasn't going to get anything. But the production design in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is immaculate.
It's great.
And
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it won it all.
Yeah, I think it helps that Hollywood does like to stroke their own ego, and having it transform back to the golden age of Hollywood helped. But I that's not taking away because it does look fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that theory did not hold up for the entire movie itself.
What's that?
That Hollywood likes to stroke itself so much that it would just be like it wins across the board. Like
for the whole night,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's why when we get to Best Picture, I was wrong, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
Film editing though goes to Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah. I've not seen this yet. My understanding is that it's a really like well cut movie, and the Academy generally likes to see is editing as opposed to like the formation of a story versus like character arcs and stuff. So I'm not surprised that Ford versus Ferrari won. Would have been great if Parasite would have won this.
Yeah.
But
You can't have too many.
well, you could.
Well, you could.
But yeah, I can't say anything because I haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari, but I really want to.
Yeah, I mean this again. I think it could have gone to any of these.
Yeah.
That are in this category. So.
What about really 1917 though? Oh, it wasn't even nominated.
Wasn't even nominated.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
There's no editing in it.
Yes, that was the.
It's too long
That's
shot.
where I was
joke.
gonna go with. I was like, oh, yeah, so I can see why it wasn't nominated.
Best international feature goes to Parasite. It's first win of the night right there.
Big shocker.
God, all I can say is I loved his speeches.
Yeah, they were great, weren't they?
Oh my gosh.
He's so funny too.
Yeah.
I love Bong. Best visual effects go to 1917. No surprise. I think that was expected.
Okay. Like I know I said earlier that the Irishman was going to walk away with nothing, but I kind of thought they had really good special effects in that with the de-aging and all of that. But
What's better, de-aging, that or Dark Fate? Not saying a better movie, just better de-aging.
yeah,
effects.
Dark Fate's de-aging is very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At first, I thought
I
he was
could
over here
not-
trying to like throw it underneath the bus. Not you, him.
No. I mean, I've watched the opening scene. Obviously,
when that
it's
scene
great.
started up, I was like, is this alternate footage? Like, is this a scene they didn't use from T2? Like, I legit thought it was actual footage.
Yeah.
Like, the Schwarzenegger stuff is a little like, they missed the mark there. But that's actually not even Schwarzenegger. That's another guy that just looks like him. But the Linda Hamilton and Edward Furlong
And I
stuff
think
is
the hardest stuff to do is kids
Yes.
for de-aging, and to get Edward Furlong right, that's pretty impressive.
I was very impressed with the de-aging in that.
Yeah.
Not the rest of the movie, though.
Cinematography goes to 1917. Roger Deakins with his second win in the last 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
Was Blade Runner last year?
It came out in 2017, but he won in 2018.
So
2 years.
That's 2 years.
yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
It doesn't matter.
Don't let
It doesn't matter.
Don't let him do
What
math.
matters is that
Deakins
Deakins
wins
lost for
again.
so long, and now he's got 2, which is he should have 20. But
yeah, this was to be expected. I think once again, 1917 taking this one.
Yeah.
Again, I have not seen it, but it's hard to argue
Yeah.
with like a 2-take movie.
Well, what looks like 2
Yeah.
takes.
Oh, okay. So it's edited. to
Like
make-
you can
I
like
haven't seen
if you when you watch the film, you can, for me anyway, knowing that you couldn't do what they say that that it was.
So like there'll be a scene where like a character's walking down a dark hallway, and then it goes to black, like a shadow maybe, and then it comes out, and it's the same shot.
It was-
but it's not really the same shot. It's just they.
They use more of the scenery to do that more than anything.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when they're cutting from one room to the next room, the way they would cut for
Yeah.
and like move and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, I still think
To-
it's
to-
an impressive feat. though.
exactly.
Yeah.
To do that just alone,
Just even seeing the trailers, it just looks gorgeous too.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
all the fighting sequences look great.
I
so.
will not argue this win at all.
Best adapted screenplay goes to Taika Waititi, Jojo Rabbit.
This really surprised me.
I just love the fact that we have Oscar winner Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
This is the second Oscar though.
What's the first?
He won for short film
Okay.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Okay, for feature.
You have not watched that video where he won? He convinced. So he is nominated with the 5 other.
No,
people.
I've seen that video.
Yes.
And what does he do?
So
He tells the other 4 nominees before, he's like, when the camera comes on us, pretend you're sleeping, because he thought it would be funny.
and he's the only one
No
that does
one
it.
else does it, and he's just like shakes awake. It's so funny.
Okay.
But which I think makes it even funnier because at that point he's the only one that does it.
Yeah.
So it makes it even funnier for me.
Yeah.
Now, especially knowing who he is.
Yeah. So this one caught me off surprise. I thought Little Women was taking it.
I did too.
I thought, and I haven't seen Little Women, but I hear it's fantastic, and I want to see it. But the whole like Greta Gerwig not getting stuff, I thought for sure they'd be like, "All right, we got to give it to Greta Gerwig."
Even so much so that Natalie Portman had her name engraved onto her jacket for the night.
Yeah. So I'm happy. I loved Jojo Rabbit. I think it's a fantastic movie. You seen it, Brian?
No.
Oh, so I'm the one that's seen it in this room. Okay, you guys got to see it.
Remember, it came to Sioux Falls for like 2 days.
Yeah. Well, it's on Amazon Prime now, or well, you can rent it off Amazon. So I highly recommend watching. I know you'll love it.
All right.
It's an incredible work. Anyway, I'm happy this won because I kind of figured it wasn't going to get anything else, even though I think Scarlett Johansson should have won. But very surprised by this. Happily surprised.
Happily surprised.
All right, here comes another big win for the night. That is Best Original Screenplay, Parasite. Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-woon.
Yeah.
Big win for the film.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Is this when he started talking about drinking, or is that the next one?
Well, he won this one first.
I think he mentioned during his next one.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I've won. I can now go have a drink or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his only real competition would have been Tarantino. But at this point, it's like, you give Tarantino a third Oscar, or else
For writing? Yeah.
Yeah, or else do you give him one for directing, which wasn't likely either. So you might as well just give it to Bong Joon-ho. And this just, I don't know.
The wild card was Rian Johnson, Knives Out, I think.
No, I don't think he had a chance.
But I don't think he...
Oh,
I
you
don't
mean
think
like in terms of a nomination?
No, he got nominated, but
he didn't have a chance of winning.
I think he was the wild card for me.
Yeah.
People love that film.
No, you're right.
Brian included.
No, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had a chance of winning. I think the nomination was the win for Rian Johnson.
Here comes probably these next few ones are all to be expected, I believe, by everyone picking in their Oscar pools.
The acting
All
stuff
the
now,
acting
yeah.
stuff, yep. Actor in a supporting role, Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Best performance of the year, period.
No, but
It was a very deserving win.
very deserved win. Yeah, we can now say Academy Award winning actor Brad Pitt. I mean, like
He's already an Academy Award winning group.
yeah,
Just not an actor.
Right. But his speech was great. I love the whole idea. Like, you could tell it really meant a lot to him. That where he talked about, like, my parents packed me up in a car and brought me here, and then he's like, once I'm in Hollywood, and it's just like, it's almost like full circle. And there's been talk that Brad Pitt's gonna not retire, but like take a significant step back from doing movies, and so like you could tell it really meant a lot to him, and that it was nice to be recognized by his peers for, I mean, maybe his best performance of his career.
And what I also liked about his speech too is the fact that you can see, especially in his face, and
eyes, he started to cry.
and in Leo's, is that the camaraderie, these two have built off of this film, because they've both been in Tarantino films, just not together.
Right.
And how he's like, I write on your coattails any day and whatnot. Like, you give me another film with these two in it again, and I will be there.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of don't want to.
Have they ever? They've never done anything before this, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, together, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I kind of like I mean I don't think you're wrong. I too would love to see another thing, but at the same time, like, I'm just like, this is kind of like lightning in a bottle. Like, you have all three of these guys, along with a great Margot Robbie performance, and it's like, just stop, like right there, just that's it. Like, just go out in the sunset. That's how I see it. Like
Literally how the movie ends.
yeah, like yeah. I don't know. It's perfect for me.
Just go back on your word, say Kill Bill was two movies, and say this is the 10th.
I still think he should do it. I really do.
Actress in a supporting role goes to Laura Dern, Marriage Story. Yep. Blake wanted ScarJo here. I thought maybe Florence Pugh could have snuck in, but I think it was Laura Dern's award to lose.
Yeah, I don't think this was...
The only reason why she wouldn't have brought it home is if she didn't show up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, which it would have been mailed to her.
Right.
Best Actor goes to Joaquin Phoenix, Joker.
Yep. Another expected win.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Would have liked to seen Adam Driver sneak in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked. Yeah, Adam Driver is probably probably the performance of the year for me. But yeah, I mean, Joaquin had it in the bag pretty much since the movie premiered at Venice. So I mean, yeah. I'm happy for him. I like him a lot. He's a great actor. I wish he would have won for like Gladiator or.
Well, he definitely has other films that you wish he would have won before this.
Yeah, so this kind of feels like the Rev. I mean, like I'm not.
This is a much better film than The Revenant.
No, no, it's not even close. But my point is like he should have won for earlier work, just like Pacino should have won for Serpico or Dog Day Afternoon, in the same way Leo should have won for
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yeah,
Wall Street or
yeah. So like this feels like a makeup award for me in a way, but
here we gave you your Oscar. Now beat it, and
like
we'll
No, I don't think it will. I think he delivers out of these. I mean, I would have, like I said, I would have liked to seen Adam Driver, but Joaquin is. I think he's killer in the movie. I think the movie's good.
Yeah,
but he's obviously the best part of it.
Well, he's
the lead, and he's pretty much the only
or the
real character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the movie, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like I personally would have not nominated Joaquin at all. Like I just don't think he's that great at it. But I know I'm in the vast majority too. So.
Yep, we already picked it last week. Go listen to the Schmuckies. Adam Sandler is the best actor of the year. We have all said it.
I would also like to point out the fact that there's only been, for the sake of comic book movies, comic book characters that have won Academy Awards for acting, it all goes to the Joker.
That's another thing too that I find
Jared Leto's crying there in the middle.
Really interesting. He probably is actually. He probably actually is like, what's wrong with my like gangster Joker? Which he's fine.
I sent people rats. I should have won an Oscar.
I thought he was fine as the Joker. It was an interesting take on the character. But
exactly. That's my look at Jared Leto. Is every version of the Joker is different. That's his version.
I honestly just think that like people don't like Jared Leto, and they let that cloud their thing.
Which is unfortunate too, because he can put on a very good performance.
Who's more of a weirdo, Jared Leto or Joaquin Phoenix?
I mean, it's got to be
Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, yeah.
But I think I also think Joaquin Phoenix is like a 100% introvert who does not like the limelight, doesn't like the idea of award shows. I think like...
And you can definitely kind of see the fact that he's basically one of those child actors that has grown up in the industry.
Yeah, I think he hates Hollywood. I really do. And I think he's only...
Have you ever seen him on talk shows?
Oh, have you seen him give speeches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see this speech?
Yeah, this speech is...
I haven't watched this speech yet.
Really bad. But...
that's when you just go up there, you say thank you, and
but that's what I'm saying is like
off.
He gets up there and he starts doing this thing, and he himself is not built to give these grandstanding like we need to change the world. And I'm fine with if someone wants to say something like that, but I just
he's no Brad Pitt giving a speech.
He doesn't have that charisma.
Yeah.
And like it definitely feels like this entire award season, like his publicist or manager was like out there like, you need to go get this if you want this. You know, like it doesn't feel like the Joaquin that I feel like I have an idea of like does not care about awards at all.
No, he's in it for the art, not for the award.
So it definitely feels like he's happy to be acknowledged for this, but like I bet deep down inside he does not care about it.
No.
Which is kind of cool, you know, in a way like, hey, fuck,
it's kind of in the same vein of the people that's like, have you watched your movie? No, I lived.
Exactly.
I lived my movie. I don't need.
I wouldn't want to watch myself in a movie either.
Oh, right.
All right, let's move on to then Best Actress Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Somebody who tried to top Joaquin Phoenix's speech. I don't know. She was just.
Was she?
It was not good.
She was just as much out there as Joaquin was.
She seems a little nose up in the air, though. She's always come off that way.
That's not the first time I've heard that. She did this thing that I thought was cool, and then like it kept going, where she's like, she's like, what did she say? Something about heroes. We should talk about our heroes and we should praise our heroes. And then she's like, our servicemen and our church leaders and then our first responders and the police. And she kept going about like all these people we should. And it's kind of like, yeah,
we get the idea.
Get it. And she kept going. So like again, like I just felt like, and I don't want to judge speeches on this show, but like it just felt very misguided. But As far as her, I have not seen Judy.
I don't know a lot of people that have. The only person I know is Andy.
I think Andy
the
did.
fat dude. Do?
No, Andy Erickson.
No,
I know Andy Erickson wrote a review for us.
He liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So we should almost have him.
We should. Yeah, we'll ask him here.
We have to ask him. Yeah.
But did Andy, the fat dude, watch it? I don't
know.
remember
I
if
don't
he
know.
did.
Yeah.
Andy, call us out if you did.
Yeah. Please.
But yeah, that was to be expected. Most of us would have hoped ScarJo here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Get to the last two here. The two big ones for the night. Best Director, Bong Joon-ho, Parasite.
Yeah. This is bittersweet. I'm very happy Bong Joon-ho won.
You bittersweet in that. Who would you have rather have seen win?
I'd rather
If he was
He would have rather have seen
if
Todd
Parasite
Phillips
wasn't
win.
in there.
What's that?
If Parasite wouldn't have been in there at all, who would you rather have seen win?
Tarantino.
I would agree.
I think this is the perfect
No. He's saying it.
pick.
I like Bong Joon-ho winning because, us film guys, we follow careers like, you talk about Taika Waititi kind of coming from this really odd,
Very indie on top of it.
this very odd humor these movies, and like in a way Bong Joon-ho has been doing this for almost 20 years now. With his first movie, Memories of a Murder, and then he did The Host, which is a huge international
Monster movie,
and then he went on to do like
Snowpiercer, which is like, I don't know, like an
which is
thriller
comic book movie
adaptation.
Yeah, so it's great to watch someone who's like been loved within a certain community for so long, who's been like, why is no one recognizing that this guy is one of the best filmmakers in the world? Like, why is he not getting his due? And it's nice to see. It's nice to see especially a foreign guy who's not within the system win like this. Like I often think that you shouldn't need validation to be known as great. Like oh, I don't need an Oscar to know that I'm a great filmmaker or whatever. But at the same time, it's kind of like you want the regular people who are like, oh, what should I watch tonight? Are like, oh, this won the Oscar.
I should go watch that movie. I should go watch
this. And like, for me, Parasite is his best movie yet. It's not my favorite. But it's most definitely the best movie that he's made. So like, it's one thing to be recognized, but it's also another thing to be recognized as making as for your best movie. And like I said earlier, I mean, pretty much a clean sweep. Other than two categories. So I'm very happy that Bong Joon-ho won. I would have loved to have seen Tarantino win because I think he's one of America's most original filmmakers we've had in the past 20, 30 years. And now he's not going to win a directing Oscar. I don't think he'll make a movie as good as this.
Until all of a sudden the 10th one comes on, they're just like, we need to give it to him.
It's our last chance.
It's our last
so he'll
chance.
Get oh, we should have awarded you for Hollywood, and like, yeah, so like that's disappointing. So I'm a little sad because he's my favorite filmmaker and I think he's earned it at this point. But it's nice to see Bong Joon-ho,
Agreed.
a nice guy who made an incredible movie, Brian.
And you can just tell he just loves.
You need to see it.
He just loves movies too.
And so like,
my goal is by the end of the week.
Cool.
Brian, I watched it off your account. You have the movie.
I know I do. That's what I'm saying.
So since last week, because I had said I had not seen Parasite or Once Upon a Time, and I watched them both back to back. Yeah. It's rare I say this. Parasite is an instant classic.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Parasite is instantly one of the best picture winners ever. Like, there's no question about it. It's just, and I'm probably hyping this up way too much for you.
I'm gonna get at the movie going, God, I'm so disappointed. I won't be.
But like, it's so entertaining. Like, it's and when you watch it, you realize how universal movies are. Because like, it doesn't feel like a South Korean movie. Like, yeah, you're reading subtitles, but like you're sucked into the drama immediately. And like, I'm in my head now, I'm thinking of little sequences throughout the movies where I'm like, this is American filmmaking. Like, this is just this guy who has it figured out, who's written this great screenplay with his co-writer, and he just made a very enjoyable, like, thriller,
satire,
social satire that like the majority of the world's going to be like, I get that. I get why they're doing this. And like, you might not like the main characters and what they're doing, but you're like, I understand why they're doing this. And in the way, and that's
here's the weird. This is the weird thing that I found. I liked everyone.
No, I did too. Because there's a lot of ignorance with a certain set of people in the movie, but there's also a certain set of ignorance within your heroes as well. And that's where the whole dynamic plays in of like, oh, well, are they really good people? And so I think that speaks to a lot of people, you know, and I think the ability to make a movie that's entertaining, that can cross cultural boundaries, and for a lot of people to understand and really empathize with, I think you have to recognize something like that. And now it's going to make even more money, which is great. Like, you're going to have people hopefully flocking to see this. I know, like, I'm already like checking my bank account to see if I have money to buy it now, because I want to. Like, I've seen it 3 times, and like it gets more enjoyable each time I watch it, even knowing where like what happens halfway through. You know, like, I want to look for clues and stuff, and I'm so happy for Bong Joon-ho. Like,
I think it's just the most well shot movie of the year. It is just gorgeous to look at. Everything is perfect. Yeah. It's meticulous. Yeah. Everything about it. I'm glad it won Best Screenplay, because I do think it is the best screenplay of the year. It's so tight and so pinpoint, and even though the movie is 2.5 hours, 240, something like that,
it's 2 hours and 10 minutes.
You don't feel it.
Yeah,
it's longer than that.
It's not. Look it up.
Look it up, Brian. It's not as long as Irishman or Hollywood.
It's
but
an hour and 30 minutes. No, it's 130 minutes. That's my guess. So
2 hours and 12 minutes.
So yeah, I agree. Like, it's very like, and I love like. Did your parents ever like one of those Russian dolls where like you open it and then like there's a smaller one inside, and then you open that and there's a smaller one inside? That's what this movie is. Like, you're given this doll and you're like, oh, okay, what's this? And you open, like, a scene happens and like that the first one comes out, and then you're like, oh, what's next? And then like the next doll comes out, and like this, it keeps going and unpacking these things until this thing happens, and then you're like, well, what's going to happen now? And you think certain things are going to happen, but like it goes in a completely different direction, and then it's hard to tell this movie when Brian hasn't seen it, but and that's okay, because I've had to explain to many people like what happens without giving away. It's just
I was lucky enough going into this movie. I had only seen the poster. That's all I saw on it.
Trailer?
No.
Oh my! Chris, you need
I should go watch. I should watch the trailer now.
The trailer is incredible, but. Yeah, I suppose you can just move on to Best Picture.
That'll wrap this thing up. With Best Picture goes to Parasite, the first foreign film to ever win Best Picture.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Like, I think we're looking. I don't know if we're looking at like, all of a sudden we're going to see like art house experimental stuff winning. Obviously not, but like like this opens a door to like other possibilities. Now, next year we might get another Green Book where people are like, what the hell happened? You did this last year. Now this. Now Brian brought up something interesting a few weeks ago.
Ooh, what'd I do?
Well, you brought up that Roma opened the door. Now the question is, if Roma wins last year, does this win this year?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think it's full on 1917 or Hollywood, but that's just my opinion. We don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So
that's a good question.
Like, I think we're starting to see this whole change with voting. They have these new voters in. I think we're starting to see the fruits of those labors. That would be great to see other, people of different cultural backgrounds being nominated for performances in other categories. But like, this is a good step in that direction. I think Parasite is a very worthy winner. Korean or not. So
I think that's what really stands out. Even with Roma, I think Roma, it's a select audience that will find enjoyment in the film and truly take to it.
Yeah.
Parasite, though, like, I have heard nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
It seems universally loved by all people, all kinds, no matter what. And it just seems like that movie that just transcends audiences and boundaries in every way possible. So
they really figured out a formula to really speak to everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad. I had I don't know how many what were the predictions at your Your party for best best picture, mostly.
Derek did 1917. I did 1917. You did Once Upon in Hollywood.
I did Hollywood, and Adam, I think, did Hollywood.
And then Andre did 1917, maybe?
So no one picked Parasite.
No.
Yeah.
No. Did Andre pick Parasite? I have to ask him. But I don't know if anyone... No, because he said, I hope Parasite wins, but I don't think it will.
No, I think if I remember correctly, now that you say that, I think he picked Hollywood.
Yeah, I think,
thinking that Parasite wouldn't take it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm so glad
happy.
this one.
So Derek and I were kind of like watching. We're having a little side conversation while this whole thing was happening, and based on like what movies were winning going up, is kind of like, oh, well, maybe 1917 it does have this in the bag, and then like when Bong Joon-ho won director, we were both just like,
is this happening?
Is this happening right now? And I still was like, no, 1917 is going to win this, and I'm happy to be wrong. So I want to talk about something with the sheets that I handed out at the party.
Okay.
I told you to send me your picks,
mm-hmm.
and I said I want you to give me a no guts, no glory, like a wild pick.
Yep.
That you think isn't going to happen, but like if you did, like you'd win $12 million or something. Casey's no guts, no glory pick was best picture, best director, best production design, and best foreign feature for Parasite. You got 3 of those right.
I know.
If you had just gotten screenplay, which I don't know why you didn't.
No, I said screen. I'm pretty sure I said.
Design.
I said everything it was nominated for, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I was expecting that.
Yeah. So
that's why I was hoping production design, but I was expecting Hollywood to take it.
So
yeah, I am so happy this one. I liked Hollywood more than I thought I was going to. I think I have a few problems with it, but I think just Parasite is the movie of the year.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm glad.
Think there's any question? Like this, it's so weird to see the Oscars award the movie of the year,
mm-hmm.
like for the movie that speaks most about what's happening in the world. And
for me, this felt like the last time I felt like this with the Oscars was it would have been 2 years ago when Shape of Water won. Because I just felt like Del Toro's always been that guy, and Bong Joon-ho is a similar director as Del Toro.
As the guy that makes all the good movies but doesn't get the recognition because it's not quite what everybody expects.
It's a foreign director. He's done like everything they've done has been universally loved by the people that have seen it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Not with Guillermo del Toro, because I mean, immediately went to Hellboy.
Are you talking just
Hellboy's
about?
Good.
Are you talking just about his winning movie or his movies in general?
For
you got Del Toro.
Del Toro, what is people don't like about Del Toro? Hellboy is probably the one that sneaks in there.
What I'm saying is like his movies aren't universally loved.
But by those that have seen them.
I mean, I would rank a lot of I've seen all those movies and I don't care for most of them personally. But
it's just your opinion, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? He's a foreign director where he's grew up building from the smaller films, taking on bigger films, and now with their original story, they've won.
Here's what I like about your comparison to Del Toro. Like, I think Del Toro is a great talent, and he makes the movies he wants to make. You know, like, he's not like Shape of Water is not some movie that some guy wrote and he's just like, I'm going to do this because I think it's a great script. Like, he was the one who saw Black Lagoon when he was a kid and said, oh, what happens when that guy or that girl and the monster, like, after they're done swimming with each other, like what happens if they were to fall in love?
Why aren't they falling in love? Yeah.
And so it's nice to see, you know, these auteurs, I hate that word, but it's so simple to go to. You know, like Cuarón makes a movie about his childhood that is so personal to him. You know, and like Bong Joon-ho said it last night, he said the most personal movies are the most creative. And it's great to see these directors rewarded with arguably their best movies. I'd say, you know, like you look at both Del Toro and Bong Joon-ho, and like they've taken everything they've learned, and it's like, boom, here it is.
There's the magnum opus.
Right. Yeah.
Their best film. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what makes this year as a whole stand out differently than years past if any of these other films would have won, I don't think there would be that much of a riot like Green Book last year.
The great thing about this year is the big like 3 or 4 that were could have won. Like any of them could have won. Like Jojo Rabbit could have won last night. Hollywood could have won last night. I think Joker had a really outside chance of winning.
I think any of them stood a chance at one point this year.
Yeah. But like going into last night, 3 or 4 legitimately could have won. And I think that's kind of exciting because we have all these precursors like the DGAs and the Golden Globes and the BAFTAs are kind of like, okay, you can kind of see where the whole thing is going. And honestly, it all went towards 1917. Like it was winning everything. And it was kind of like, well, this is kind of boring. And that's what happens with the Oscar season. It's like, this is really boring. Like with the acting awards this year, it's like, oh, we know what's going to win. And it was so nice to see. And I'm not trying to trash talk 1917, but it's like it was so nice to see like the Oscars, like the Oscars of all the people get it, So,
but even looking at a movie like 1917, Brian, you're the only one that has seen it, and I think you even probably agree with this. Next year at this time, are you going to remember 1917?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Is it that bland?
For me personally, yeah. Like, and I will say this over and over and over again for the sake of what Sam Mendes was able to do in terms of the look, the feel, basically the technical side of it.
So what was missing for you?
It was what I got out of it. The first thing I immediately thought was basically the story is the Lord of the Rings meets Saving Private Ryan. Like you get to the end and like
you've seen it before.
Yes, like
That's what I loved about Parasite.
I didn't have that connection with the key players in it, and you could pretty much peg out the first act, second act, and third act by the famous face that everybody's going to get drawn to: Colin Firth to Mark Strong to Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mark Strong is in this.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited.
He's your point man of the second act.
Is he not the bad guy in the movie?
No.
Well, that's a first.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's Colin Firth to start. Then the next part, when you're seeing the famous face, that you're like, oh, he's in this here. Yep, you get Mark Strong, followed by your ending with Benedict Cumberbatch.
I have a friend who, when he watches movies, he says if I can see the mechanics starting to move within a movie, he likes it less because then it becomes predictable.
Yes.
So I see what you're saying with that, where like it's almost like chapters, where it's like, oh, this is where I'm gonna tune into this part.
Yep.
And like that's why I like Parasite is because
you don't know what's happening.
And that's with a lot of Bong Joon-ho movies. Like that guy loves to flip stuff on its head. Like Parasite, you're like, oh, I got this. This is what's gonna happen, and all of a sudden you're like,
no, it's not.
And what's great about the twist is like, you're like, oh, now this is gonna happen, and then it just goes somewhere else, and you're like, what's happened? And like that's what I love about the movie, and so like, I'm disappointed to hear that about 1917, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend one to see it, and if given the opportunity, maybe see it on the big screen because of the style, the look, everything like that. But I mean, if you're gonna go for the story,
so out of 5 stars,
I think I gave it 3.5, maybe 4
for 1917.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But that's mainly on the technical side of it. Like, I mean, the performances were great.
He also gave Too Fast, Too Furious 5 out of 5. So take his.
Well,
I am joking.
I know.
No,
I know where you're.
But you're not joking. But because he did, he probably did do that.
I did do it.
So
I did do it.
Well, let's check out Brian on Letterboxd.
But I also did that a long time ago.
I think it's funny.
I just want to say, Fast 5 gets easily 4 or 4.5 for me.
Yeah.
So
it's for me. 1917 is the fact that
belongs right there.
The performances are great. The movie is beautiful. The cinematography win is completely justified.
If it had won, would you been okay with that?
No, because especially for Best Picture, because knowing that Tarantino, if Parasite wasn't there. I mean, even for someone who hasn't seen it and for everybody who talks about it and whatnot, I completely understand its justification. But I couldn't see that for 1917. I would rather have seen Tarantino take that for Best Picture. Easily.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. I want to give each one of us give your your favorite moment of the night or favorite win, one or the other. Blake, I'll have you start.
It's going to be Parasite winning director and picture.
And
Brad Pitt winning supporting actor.
I would have to agree with both of those just because watching just the look on Bong Joon-ho's face.
Dude,
like he legit, that's one of the first times you see, you get all these people like, oh, yep, I've already got my speech already pre-written out, and he's like, I'm legit don't know what to say, and
he was ready to call it a day after a foreign film.
Go back and watch him winning director. Like, it's like he doesn't even hear his name. Like, someone has to shove him.
Yeah.
To be like, and he's like, oh, like it's crazy.
Yes.
And then also when Parasite wins Best Picture and Jane Fonda reads Parasite, the noise level of the screams is. You can tell why it won.
And I love the fact that, when they're trying to get cut, the Academy's trying to cut him off.
Yes. Up,
and then
up,
everybody
up.
in the entire...
The speech
I haven't watched... I got to watch the Best Picture speech.
The speech, like, they shut the lights off on him halfway through. And then they're like... They start going like this, like, turn the lights up. And then the front crowd starts going, up.
You've got, like, Tom Hanks and all of them. Like, let them finish. And even Jane Fonda's over there going...
Yeah, it's great. It's so good
because they've already cut to Jane Fonda, and she's like,
So to make this short,
watch that.
Best Picture, Best Director, and it was very nice seeing Brad Pitt get very emotional about his.
Very
film.
much justified.
Yep, I'm gonna echo that. Parasite taking their wins. I didn't watch it, but seeing it come up on my Twitter and everybody's Facebook feed was great. So that's my pick as well. Parasite.
Hey, Parasite.
And now that Blake has picked it on the top 20 films of the decade, Blake, I 100% agree with that pick.
My only regret is that I didn't go higher. But looking at where I got to play again, it would have been number 1 if I played it. Anyway.
Yeah. Now having seen it, I do wish it was higher.
Yeah. Anyway.
Number 3. Should have been number 3. Anyway, go check out our top 20 films of the decade episode. That was a few weeks ago. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up with some of the stuff we got to plug here at the end. Check out the latest episode of the Killer Countdown, in which myself and my fiance Kayla rank the top 8 children's horror films of all time. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, it was fun. So yeah, go check out our buddy Andy at Fat Dude Digs Flicks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and his podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and no, not on YouTube. Sorry, Andy. That's us. Go check out Corey Jacobson from Somewhat Random Movie Collection on Instagram. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and YouTube. And then follow Backlot 605 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and join the South Dakota Film Community Group on Facebook.
Come join, get a discussion going.
Heck yeah.
Let's talk some Oscar movies.
Let's do it.
If you pick the right subject, you will get responses for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, Blake, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at
Midwest.
Yeah,
you should have this down.
Midwest_cinephile.
Yeah. I think what happens is I remember like halfway through my brain getting ready to say it, like, oh, I have an underscore to say, but. If you just type in Midwest, does it just pop up?
You'll find it.
Yeah. So
Midwest_cinephile on Instagram.
Yeah, if you just type that in, you'll find me. Midwest Cinephile on Instagram.
Yes.
I'm there. I review every movie I watch. Holla at you, boy.
Brian?
I'm also on Instagram as LP Freak, on Twitter, which I should probably get more active.
Twitter's overrated.
Twitter is overrated.
Twitter sucks.
I've stopped Twitter.
And,
did you delete your account, though?
No.
Letterboxd.
It's there. It's there because I keep the news.
Get off.
Just continue.
That's how I was watching the Oscars.
Get off.
Since he's just going to overtalk me anyway.
Yeah.
Get off.
I'll
get on. Get on Instagram, where you can find me, Casey_the Horror Guy.
Midwest Cinephile, LP Freak,
and
Casey the Horror Guy.
All on Instagram. Go check us out there. And anyway, until next time, thank you all once again for listening to the Backlot 605 podcast. And we'll see you next time on the Backlot of South Dakota.